Welcome back. All right, so we have 11 games to talk about tonight. Let me make sure I'm not going to step on a rabbit. All right, that's as far back as I can go. So I was going to wear my Swayman jersey tonight. I was excited to wear the Swayman jersey, and then a team had to go out and do something they've never done in their history. And I was like, well, I guess I can't wear my Swayman tonight, but I get the feeling I may get a chance to wear it again soon enough. So we're going to go ahead and, again, chronological order, we're going to start by talking about Colorado and Ottawa. And this is a game that had some controversy to it, didn't it? So it's Johansson versus Sogard. Good chances for both early, but at 2:35, Makar scores from Rantanen and McKinnon. So good start for Colorado, and then the Avs look for another. They end up drawing themselves a power play, and at 5 minutes, they score. It's Comfer from Makar, makes it 2-0. He tips that one in. It barely crossed the line, but it did. That was the 6th shot on net for Colorado. The Senators didn't have any shots yet. We then had a power play for Ottawa. It did not have a good start. The second unit sets up, cycles. There was a near miss for Pinto. That's killed off. But the Ottawa power play would get things going tonight after what's been a rough period of time for them. We then get a power play for Colorado. That's killed off. The Sens get their second power play, also killed off. But much better game by the Senators since that 2-0 goal, forcing the Avs to go over 7 minutes between shots and playing pretty darn well. And then with 1:34 left in the first period, the Sens get what's already their third power play. They score on this one at 19:33, so early in it. Get it done early. Batherson from Stützle and Sanderson makes it 2-1 for Colorado after one. Second period, Batherson has an early rush. That's saved. Stützle nearly ties it soon after that. Shots are 2-0 for Ottawa at 2.5 minutes. Hamonic has a blast that's saved, and then at 4:23, kind of against the flow of play, Rantanen scores from McKinnon and Byram, so that makes it 3-1. Sens press at 6 minutes. Rodriguez has a rush chance that's saved, and then on a rush of their own, Pinto buries one. He scores from Gauthier and Brandstrom at 8:20. Shots on net are 9 apiece with 8 minutes left, so pretty wide open second period to that point. Near miss for Byram from the slot. The fans call one, the ref doesn't. That's the theme in this one a little bit. And Rodriguez would score from McKinnon at 15-17. So frustrated fans, and it doesn't get better. The Avs press with 2.5 minutes left. And then, well, the Sens thought it was going to be icing, so they kind of stop. Sogard kind of covers it. Figures there's going to be a whistle. And lets go of the puck. Lars Eller half-heartedly puts the puck in the net, probably figuring this is a dead play. I'm going to do this. It counts. At 18:09, it counts. So they count that. And then there's a goalie interference challenge. Now, this is where I feel bad for DJ Smith. There probably should have been a whistle, if not for the icing, then for the fact that Sogard had it. Also, Sogard shouldn't have let go of the puck without hearing the whistle. That's the other side of this too, right? So at any rate, there wasn't enough there for the goalie interference to overturn the goal, and so it counts, and the Avs go to the power play. The ref is then told that he sucks, because that's what happens. McKinnon has a shot that's blocked, Rantanen with a near miss, but that rolls over into the third. That final 9 seconds are killed off. And then Hamonic would make it a little closer. He scores from Stützle and Tkachuk at 2:52. He buries a rebound there. Shots are 3-1 for the Senators at 6.5 minutes. The Avs press with 9 minutes left, but the Senators get a power play, and they score on it. It's Tkachuk from Stützle and Sanderson at 13:18. We then had 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Not long after, we get 2 minutes of 4-on-4 again. Goalie pull happens with 55 seconds left, but then with 40.9 seconds left, well, the 4-on-4 becomes a 4-on-3. Due to the fact that the goalie's been pulled, it's a 5-on-3. Unfortunately for Sens fans and for the players and the team, they are not able to tie this. Colorado holds on and they win this one 5-4. Not the prettiest of wins, but Colorado will take it. 39-22-6 with the victory. The Sens 33-31-4. It just doesn't get better for Ottawa tonight. Shots on net, 12-10 Ottawa in the first, 14-10 Colorado in the second, 14-6 Ottawa in the third. Final shots, 36-30 for the Senators. Power plays, Colorado 1 for 3, Ottawa 2 for 5. The hits, 28-15 for Ottawa. Johansson saves 32 out of 36. Sogard saved 25 out of 30. So, a bit of a sloppy game at points, but entertaining. And then there was a game that was just, this was some pond hockey. So Montreal and Florida. So for Montreal, I chose the logo they used well over a century ago. And scoring was really high over a century ago too. There are some historically high scores from back then, and maybe that's why I used that logo, or maybe just because I haven't used it in a while. So it's Montembeault versus Bobrovsky on their first shot. Montreal scores. It's Matheson from Anderson and Drouin at 16 seconds. Habs press for another. They had the early edge, but at 2:43, Colin White gets a goal, so it's 1-1. Then at 3:17, Verhaeghe has a goal from Bennett, and he roofs it. It's a give and go. At this point, I'm still writing notes. Wouldn't last. So that makes it 2-1. Panthers press for another, but on Montreal's second shot, they get their second goal. It's Richard from Goulet at 5:20. So that makes Florida upset, and they're like, oh yeah? And Forsling scores from Tkachuk at 6:03. You know what this reminded me of is when we played floor hockey, we didn't have a goaltender, and so you'd turn the net around, and you'd make it so that you had to bounce the ball off of the wall and into the net. Well, once you figure out the angle, it's easy. A better way of doing it is you have to hit the post instead of hitting the net. That's a better way to do it without a goaltender. That's what this reminded me of, because it's like they just figured out the right place to hit and everything's going to go in, because at this point, we're 6 minutes into the game and the score is 3-2. Montembeault was done, not for long. I hope he didn't have a relaxing time of it, because Allen's in. Panthers press at 7.5 minutes, but on Montreal's third shot, they get their third goal. It was a rough night for Bobrovsky as well. It's Pizzetta from Tierney and Richard at 8:18. Ekblad then scores on what was the 8th shot of the game for Florida from Luostarinen and Duclair at 9:09. The Habs still had 3 shots. That's why they only had 3 goals. Lomberg then scores on their 10th shot from Gudas and Mahura at 10:33. I believe the fans are already chanting, "We want 10" at this point. Reinhardt would then add one from Mahura at 12:22. What's interesting about this is that there was some debate about whether or not the whistle went before the puck went in. The referees talked and they went, nope, and they announced nope. Marty St. Louis was trying to call the referees over to at least chat about it. They wouldn't even come over and talk to him. Nothing. So, yeah, that was the 12th shot on net, and that's what, the 6th goal. And then on their 15th shot at 13:18, they score again. It's Verhaeghe from Tkachuk. So it's 7-3 for Florida. This was the 12th highest scoring first period in NHL history. The record is 12 goals and a period of hockey. I thought they were going to hit it. I thought I was going to end up needing multiple boards for this one game. It didn't end up happening. So with 1:59 left, Florida gets power play. That was killed off. We go to the second period. 2:26 in, Harvey Pinard decides I might as well get one. He scores. It was a face-off win, and it's in the back of the net. Barron and Edmondson then with the assists on that. Then there's a delay game call that gives the Panthers the power play, and they score on it. It is Ekblad from Montour and Tkachuk at 5:31. And then at 7:33, so a little over 2 minutes later, Tkachuk scores from Barkov. And yeah, so Allen's done. It just, what a baffling game. Power play for the Panthers, that's killed off. There's a press by the Panthers with 2 minutes left. But after 2 periods of play, the score is 9-4. So, yeah. Third period, no shots on net in the first 3 minutes. That's why there weren't any goals. Power play for the Habs, they score on it. It is Pitlick from Matheson at 5:47. So Montreal's only power play of the game. And they score on it. The Habs had pressed with 5 minutes left. They don't manage 4 goals during that press. Your final score is 9-5. Ugly game, but it counts and it gets them 2 points closer to the playoffs. So Florida goes to 34-27-7 with that. Montreal 27-36-6 with the loss. The shots on net 19-6 Florida in the first, 16-13 Florida in the second, 11-7 Montreal in the third. Final shots 42-30 for the Panthers. Power plays, Montreal 1 for 1, Florida 1 for 4. So I guess at least Montreal's penalty kill was 75% tonight. The hits 26-24 Montreal. Montembeault actually saved 21 out of 24. Allen saved 12 out of 18. Bobrovsky saves 25 out of 30. So actually Montembeault ends up with the best save percentage in the game. So he's the winner. Okay, Rabbit moved. Oh, you moved over there. That was nice. It's nice of her to move over there for me. All right, next up. Pittsburgh and the Rangers. This one should take less time to recap than this and this, because there's a lot to talk about. This one, not as much. The Rangers rebound nicely from their last effort against Pittsburgh. So it's Jari versus Shesterkin. Rangers had the lone shot on net at 2.5 minutes. And on the second shot for the Rangers, it goes in at 2:51. It's Zibanejad from Panarin and Tarasenko. So Tarasenko with an assist there. Rangers press at 4.5 minutes. Then there's a power play for the Rangers. Panarin has a shot that deflects wide. There's a shorthanded chance for Rust that was blocked, but it helps to kill off that power play. Shots are 5-2 Rangers at 8.5 minutes. Panarin's denied from the slot. That's cleared out. Rangers press with 9.5 minutes left. Miller to VC near miss at the net. Kreider has a rush chance that's kicked aside. The Rangers press with 1.5 left. Trocheck then had a rush chance that was saved. So at the end of the first period, it's 1-0 for the Rangers. Second period. Ice repair delayed the start of the period here. And again, I like to get that stuff on the boards. Two reasons. First off, I think it's noteworthy. And secondly, it just kind of shows, yeah, he must have watched the game. Because that was always a debate on the channel early on when I started doing these reviews and recaps. Shots are 3-2 for the Rangers, 6 minutes into the period. Not a lot of room for either team at this point in the game. I thought it was a really solid defensive effort, really, by both teams at this point. Pens press at the half. There was more pressure by them at 8.5 minutes. Mott then has a chance that's kicked aside before Raquel gets a goal for Pittsburgh to tie it from Crosby at 14:40. It was a turnover behind the Rangers' net, and it's in the back of their net. Pens press for the lead, but Tyler Mott would score at 16:53. That puts the Rangers back in the lead. Last minute, there was a press by the Rangers, and eventually that draws them a power play with 38.8 seconds left. So a big momentum swing there. So third period, the Penguins finished the kill. Gensel has a chance that's saved and cleared. I guess it wasn't on the net or wasn't directed towards the net because the shots on net are 6-0 Rangers 7.5 minutes in. So again, we see a goalie make the save. It doesn't always result in what we consider to be a save, although those stats change after the game too. It can definitely change after the game. Gensel, though, does tie the game. He scores from Crosby and Raquel at 9:09. And at this point, it feels like the momentum is going to push Pittsburgh to a victory. However, Kreider would score. He buries a loose puck. Fox and Kane with the assists at 11:45. So there's Patrick Kane with a helper, and that's Kreider's 29th of the season. Pens look to answer. There's a press by Pittsburgh with 4 minutes left. Eventually, they pull the goaltender. The Rangers hit the empty net. It's Kreider with his 30th of the season. So that's, I think, three straight 30-goal seasons for him. Trocheck and Zibanejad with the assists. I know it's his third 30-goal season. I think it's the third time he's done it in a row. Anyways, that's at 19 minutes and 10 seconds. The Penguins would call a timeout pretty quickly after that. But whatever they discuss doesn't work. Your final score is 4-2 for the Rangers. They go to 39, 19, and 10 with the win. For Pittsburgh, 34, 24, and 10 with the loss. So now, for Pittsburgh, they're only 3 points clear of the Florida Panthers. They've played the same number of games, just Pittsburgh has the 3 more overtime losses than does Florida. So that race is close. All right, next up, last one on this board is Tampa Bay and New Jersey. Tampa Bay really impressing me this week. I have to say, they've taken what had been a really rough last month. They've been having a hard time, and they seem to be getting it back together, which is bad news for the rest of the league. So it's Vasilevsky versus Schmid, and at 1:09, Ross Colton opens the scoring for Tampa. He scores from Sergachev and Stamkos. Hughes has a rush chance that's saved and held. The shots on net are 2 apiece, 5 minutes in. Bolts press at 9 minutes. Sergachev has a screenshot that's saved. McLeod then had a shot that was saved as the Devils push back. If this ends up being what we see in the conference final, if these teams meet in like the Final Four, I'm all for that. I think that'll be a great series. Bolts press with 6.5 minutes left. Neither team getting a lot on the net, though. The pressures are there. They're not getting a lot of shots on the net. Bolts are leading in shots 9-5 with 4 minutes left. Siegenthaler has a blast that's held. Hagel had a net drive chance. That was held as well. Hischier then has a shot that's blocked. And the Devils press as we're closing out the rest of the period. So we go to the second period. 1-0 Tampa. In the second, the Devils had the early jump. We get a power play for Tampa. That leads to a shorthanded chance for Sharon Govich that was held. Nice to see him back in the lineup. So that's killed off. The Bolts go back to the power play, and it's another kill by the Devils. And then it's Tatar from Hischier and Mercer at 8:59. Net feed by Hischier. Perfect pass, perfect goal. That ties the game at 1. Devils then look for the lead, but the shots are 4-2 for Tampa Bay, 8.5 minutes in. We get 2 minutes of 5-on-3 for the Devils. And this really is kind of your turning point of the game. 2 minutes of 5-on-3. Remember the last game they had the goal taken away? This had that same kind of feel to it. Tampa Bay does everything they have to. They kill it off. And then shortly after it's done, at 18 minutes and 11 seconds, Stamkos, who was one of the 2 guys in the box, gets a goal from Belmar and Chernak, and it's 2-1 for Tampa after 2. So really rough setback there for New Jersey. Third period, early power play for the Devils. There's a net feed to Meyer. That was broken up. Bratt fans on a rebound. That's cleared out. They do kill that off. Shots are 3-0 Devils, 4 minutes in. Siegenthaler gets dumped into the Bolts bench. Takes him a little bit to get out because Tampa Bay's not going to help him out of their bench. But it is one of the highlights of National Hockey League games is the way hockey players just watch a guy from the other team just fall into their bench and then just look at him. So, how you doing down there? All right, so the Bolts had one shot halfway through the period. New Jersey's defending very well, and then Timo Meier ties it. He scores from Hischier and Severson at 9:41. Devils press with 8.5 minutes left. Jeannot can't bury one on a fast break. His struggles to score have continued in Tampa. 5:52 left. The Bolts get a power play, and they score on it. It's Stamkos again. This time, the assist to Sergachev and Kucherov at 15:13, and it was a one-timer on a really good pass. 3:45 left, then the Devils get a power play. They score on theirs as well. It's Timo Meier from Hamilton and Hughes at 17:44. So Meier with a couple of goals in the third, and there you go. Devils press for the lead, but we're going to overtime. In the overtime, Tampa Bay 5-4 this season. New Jersey 10-3. And the Devils control on the opening faceoff. Hagel has a rush chance that's held. The Devils control the next faceoff, and they set up. Boquist nearly ends it. Kucherov fires one high. There were opportunities. We're going to the shootout. And in the shootout, it is Killorn that gets the winner. So Tampa Bay wins this one in a shootout 4-3. They go to 41-22-6 on the season. New Jersey 44-17-7 with the shootout loss. But I didn't penalize New Jersey for this on any level. I think they played well, and I think this shows Tampa Bay is starting to get their game back together, which is important at this time of the year. So the shots on net are 10-8 Tampa in the first, 14-8 New Jersey in the second, 9-3 New Jersey in the third. In the overtime, 4-3 for the Devils. Final shots, 35-24 for New Jersey. Power plays, 1 for 3 for Tampa, 1 for 4 for New Jersey. The hits, 22-16 for New Jersey. Vasilevsky saves 32 out of 35, and Schmid saves 21 out of 24. And now, I need to change boards. Yep, I could have worn my Swayman while I'm using my Disneyland pen here with 2023 on it. Ooh. Anyways, all right, so Swayman versus Hellebuck in this one, and it's 50 seconds in. It's the first shot. Boston goes ahead, and they needed that. Boston's had a couple of really rough games lately, so they needed to get on the board early here. Frederick gets that one from Bertuzzi and Coyle. It's a one-timer from the slot. Power play then for the Jets. Morrissey has a screenshot that saved. The Jets cycle. The Bruins block him out. That's killed off. Scheifele has a near miss then as it comes to an end. The Jets go back to the power play. Things get pushy on a hold by Swayman. There's a shorthanded Hathaway chance that hits the post. But right after the power play comes to an end on what was only their fourth shot of the game, Zacha scores from Carlo and Orlov at 13:22. So suddenly it's 2-0 for Boston. Bruins press with 5.5 minutes left. They would get a power play. It does not last. 20 seconds later, it becomes 4-on-4. And that's all killed off. But the Bruins had some momentum, up by 2 at this point. And then with 21 seconds left, the Jets get a power play. So that rolls over into the second period. Ehlers had a net drive that was defended during that power play. Boston does kill that off. Bruins press at 3 minutes. The Jets are giving up turnovers, but they're not giving up shots. The shots on net are only 1 apiece 6 minutes in. But remember, Boston's up 2-0. They don't care how many shots are on net. They just care about the scoreboard. Post for the Jets then as they press. The Bruins get pinned down a bit at 9.5 minutes. The Bruins did clear it out, and then they would get some pressure of their own with 8.5 minutes left. Lowry's denied. The Jets press again. Connor gets denied on a 2-on-1 rush, and then things get kind of punchy on a hold by Swayman. I got the feeling as this game went along, the Jets were getting more frustrated. 3:30 left. The Jets get another power play. Morrissey has a screenshot that's held. Boston kills that off. We're going to the third. Still 2-0 Boston. Early press by the Bruins, but the shots on net are only 1 apiece at 3 minutes. Pasternak has a net drive that's defended. Dillon has a shot that's blocked as the Jets press. Power play for the Bruins. They cycle. The Jets clear it out twice. Pasternak has a shot that's saved. That's killed off. Krejci then fires one wide as the Bruins are pressuring. Strong forecheck by Boston in that third period as well. Sandberg gets denied. The rebound's cleared. Things get pushy again on a hold by Swayman, who was very sound tonight. Schmidt then has a chance that's held. The goalie pull takes place with 2:55 left. Stenlund has a tip shot that's held with 1:20 left. Winnipeg calls a timeout. However, the empty netter would take place anyways. Nosek scores from Pasternak at 19:54 to salt this one away, although there was only 6 seconds left. It's not like the Jets were going to score twice in 6 seconds. And so your final score is 3-0 for Boston. They go to 51-11-5. Their 2-game losing streak is done. They haven't lost 3 games in a row all season. For Winnipeg, 38-28-3 is their record. Shots on net favored Winnipeg the whole way. 13-7 in the first, 11-8 in the second, 12-9 in the third. Final shots 36-24 Winnipeg. Power plays Boston 0 for 3, Winnipeg 0 for 5. The hits 24-20 for Winnipeg. Swayman saves all 36 shots for his 8th career shutout. Hellebuck, 21 saves on 23 shots at the other end. So he allowed 2 goals on the first 4 shots, nothing the rest of the way. And so, yeah, for Winnipeg, well, they're still in really good shape to make the playoffs, but now Nashville didn't take a step closer. This is where I get frustrated with Nashville. So they had a 7-2-1 record in their last 10 coming into this one, but one of those losses was kind of a listless affair with Arizona, and tonight it just wasn't there. You could feel that it just wasn't there with Nashville early on. So it's Stalock versus Saros. The Hawks had the early jump. Not a lot of shots, though. The shots are 2-1 for Nashville, 3.5 minutes in. Novak has a rush chance that's defended. The Hawks get stuck on 1 shot, which is not unusual when you're talking about a Chicago game. They routinely, all season, get stuck on no shots for quite a while, and then all of a sudden they get a couple of goals. So you have to watch that. Tomasino gets denied on a breakaway. We get a power play for Nashville. That's killed off, just the 2 shots. And by Nashville standards, a very quiet crowd at that point. It does not get louder when at 19:15, Kirby Reichel scores from Athanasiou to put Chicago ahead 1-0 after 1. Second period, early press by the Hawks. They end up getting a power play, but it's an aggressive penalty kill by the Preds. So that was killed off. The Preds clear after, and they lead in shots 3-2 at 6 minutes. Power play for Nashville, that's killed off. The Hawks press at the half. Kurashev has a shot that saved. The Preds cleared out. There was a penalty shot for Duchesne. That was saved, and it remains 1-0 after 2 periods. So Chicago playing a good road game, and Stalock in replacement of Mrazek playing really well. So third period, Tkachuk has a tip shot that was saved. Shots are 3-2 Preds at 3 minutes. So they lead in shots in all 3 periods, but again, no goals at this stage, so it doesn't really matter. There's a press by Nashville 4 minutes in. Stalock really had been the story to this point. Cole Smith has a chance that's kicked aside. Dickinson has a wrister. That was held onto. And then Joey Anderson, who continues to have a really solid run with Chicago. He scores from Tkachuk. That's at 8 minutes and 1 second. It was a turnover chance and then buried. Then there was a post for Trennan as the Preds look to answer. Trennan tips another one wide during that same shift. Goalie pull happens with 2.5 minutes left. Yossi has a blast that's held. He had another chance that was saved. It just felt like they were just trying to set up Yossi, and we did understand why, didn't we? So 1:04 left. Nashville calls a timeout. Whatever they discuss kind of works. It deflects in. It's a Yossi goal from Duchesne at 19:35. So that makes it 2-1, but they did try to tie it. They just ran out of time. So Nashville shows that urgency and that desperate hockey late, but it's too late. And so Chicago wins this one 2-1. They go to 24, 38, and 6. For Nashville, 34, 25, and 7 with the loss. I'm sure Chicago fans are going to be really excited that they pull further ahead of San Jose and that the whole Bedard race, they don't seem to have any interest. And the players wouldn't. They don't care. Shots, I keep saying this, but it is worthy of repeating. Shots on net are 9-7 Nashville in the first, 12-9 Nashville in the second, 15-5 Nashville in the third. They outshot Chicago 36-21 overall. Power plays, Chicago 0 for 1, Nashville 0 for 2. Hits 32-28 for Nashville. Stalock, great night for him, 35 saves on 36 shots. Saros, 19 saves on 21 shots. And it deals a blow to their playoff hopes, because if they'd won, they would have been close with Winnipeg, but they lose this one against Chicago. Again, strength of schedule doesn't mean a whole lot this time of year. Really doesn't. Next up, Dallas and Edmonton. So this is what happens. And Dallas fans, you're learning a lesson that, if I make a video on a specific team, coincidentally, they sometimes start losing. So they lost it in Vancouver, and then tonight in Edmonton, you get a similar story. So it's Ottinger versus Skinner in this one. And of course, I believe they play Calgary on Saturday, right? So it's Heiskanen that has a blast that's held. The shots are 3-0 for the Stars, 3.5 minutes in. Dallas came out very good in this one, but the momentum would swing. So McDavid has a net drive that's defended. Nugent Hopkins gets denied. Nurse's shot is held. Near miss for Draisaitl on a rush, and then Foegele. So Foegele at 12 minutes and 12 seconds scores from Nugent Hopkins and Bouchard. And it was a nice cycle, and he buries it. Power play for the Stars, that's killed off almost before this takes place. So they moved the time around, I guess. It was right at the end of the power play, so it's qualified as a shorthanded goal. It wasn't initially when it happened, but now they show it as a shorthanded goal. At 15:54, it's Janmark from McDavid and Desharnais. So McDavid hits 130 points with that one. So that was a 2-on-1. Not much of a chance for Oettinger there, and it's 2-0 in favor of the Oilers. Stars were flat in the second half of that period. We're going to the second period. Early press by Dallas. Still Andrea is denied from the slot. Johnston was then denied by Skinner. We get a power play for the Stars. Pavelski has a shot that's saved. They cycle. It ends up being killed off. The Oilers clear it out. Get it the other way. The shots are 6-4 Dallas, 8.5 minutes in. Hintz misses one wide from in close. There was a power play for the Oilers. McDavid has a shot that saved. The Oilers cycle. That's killed off. Power play for the Stars with 2:10 left, but it becomes a 4-on-4 not long after. And then to start the third period, it's a 28-second power play for the Oilers to start. So since it's 28 seconds, Dallas does finish the kill there. Lindell has a tip shot. That saved the Oilers press at 3 minutes. Glendening has a shot. That was held. Domi was denied on a turnover chance. Draisaitl has a net feed blocked as the Oilers press. Shots are 4-2 for the Oilers at 7.5 minutes, but Johnston would get Dallas on the board. He scores from Heiskanen and Suter at 9:49. So Johnston now at 19 goals. He's been playing really well lately. The thing is, then the Oilers get a power play not long after. The Oilers are playing well. Kane with the 2-on-1 on a rush, or post for Kane on a 2-on-1 rush after a good shorthanded chance for Dallas, and then McDavid buries it. He gets his 57th from Draisaitl and Bouchard at 11:18. The Oilers look for more. They have momentum at this point. Suter has a screenshot that saved. The goalie pull happens with 4 minutes left. There was a post for Nick Bjugstad, and then Janmark does hit the empty net at 17:18. With 2:12 left, the Oilers get another power play. That's killed off, but that kills off the rest of the game. Edmonton wins this one 4-1. They go to 38-23-8. With the loss, Dallas 37-19-13. So a lesson has been learned. Shots on net, 10-5 Edmonton in the first, 13-10 Edmonton in the second, 11-7 Dallas in the third. Overall, the shots are 30-26 for Edmonton. I thought they played a very solid game. Power plays, Dallas 0 for 3. Edmonton 1 for 4. The hits, 27-27. Oettinger saved 26 out of 29, and Skinner, good night for him, 25 saves on 26 shots. Now I need to change boards. All right, let us talk about the Flames. So Calgary comes into today with very under 50% chance of making the playoffs. If they can play like this, there's that chance they get in. And if Calgary does manage to get in as like a number 2 wild card and they play, I don't know, Vegas in the first round, that could be fun, right? So, but it could end up being the Kings. Also a pretty fun matchup. I don't think there's going to be a bad matchup in this year's playoffs, though. So get ready for me to talk about how fun they're all going to be. So it's Markstrom versus Quick. Calgary come into this one 0-7-1 all-time in Vegas. Never won a game in Las Vegas. So good early flow, rushes both ways. The shots are 2-0 Vegas at 4 minutes, so your standard start for a Vegas game against Calgary at home. Flames press at 5.5 minutes. Eichel to Marchessault, near miss. Not much room for either team at this point. No indication of the goal scoring that is to come. Shots are 5 apiece with 5 minutes left. So that's what I mean. There's not a lot going on in this one until Weegar scores from Anderson and Toffoli at 15:05. And that's when things really start to go in favor of a more high-scoring game. So the Flames press for another. Martinez then had a net feed that was blocked. The Flames press with 1.5 minutes left, but with 25 seconds left, Vegas gets a power play. So that rolls over into the second period. William Karlsson's denied. The rebound misses. Flames cleared out. They finished the kill. There were 3 shots on that one. And then on a turnover, Toffoli scores from Lindholm at 3:38. So Toffoli continues to be the most valuable player for the Calgary Flames. Backlund had a net feed that deflects out. And then we had a fight between Stetcher and Cotter on the play. So Stetcher stepping up there. Pressed by the Flames at 5 minutes. We get a power play for Vegas. Kessel has a shot that's blocked. The Flames clear it out. Shorthanded Dubé rush is denied. And then there was a shorthanded break for Backlund. He fires wide on that. But they do kill that off. And they had the best chances during Vegas' power play. And then White Cloud scores for Vegas. He gets that one from Smith and Amadio at 12:33. Vegas presses for the tie. Smith steals, fires one high from in close, and then they get the puck back, and Smith scores from Karlsson at 15:44, or 15:54. Makes up for not getting the first opportunity in the net. And so that's from the side of the net, and all of a sudden a 2-0 scores become 2-2. But this will not go the way of other games between Calgary and Vegas in Vegas. Coleman restores the lead. From Lindholm and Weegar at 17-17. Then the Flames press with a minute and a half left. They're up 3-2 after 2. And they're 25-1-5 leading after 2. So Calgary's pretty good at locking things down in the third period. Early jump for the Flames. White Cloud blocks a Dubé net drive. Backlund fires one wide on a rush. Delay game call gives Vegas the power play. Carlson was denied as it came to an end. We get a power play for the Flames. Shorthanded 3-on-2's broken up. The Flames set up, and they score. Backlund puts one in off Quick's mask. So it's a way to score, I guess. Just bank it off his mask and in. Anderson and Toffoli with the assists at 8 minutes and 40 seconds. Vegas presses with 7 minutes left, but on a break, Mangiapane gets the breakaway thanks to the linesman. So the puck went off the linesman, and Mangiapane takes advantage. Toffoli buries the rebound at 13-18. So with the assist, secondary assist to the linesman, I guess, Toffoli gets that one. He has a goal to go with a couple of assists on the night. Then there's a power play for Vegas, and then with 5:01 left, they pull the goaltender to make it a 6-on-4. That leads to an empty net goal at 15:43 by Coleman, who was just out of the box. Hanifin with the assist. And then at 16 minutes and 11 seconds, just to make sure they get the no mercy magnet on the board. I'm sure that's why they did it. Dubé gets a goal from Zadorov, and then the Flames had a power play before this one's out. It doesn't score, but it doesn't have to. They win this one 7-2, and there's your no mercy magnet. They go to 31-24-14 with the win. Vegas drops to 42-21-6 with the loss. And it's a tough loss because the team they're competing for first place with had a good night. So your shots in this one, 8-6 Calgary in the first, 12-8 Calgary in the second, 10-5 Calgary in the third. I think this third period by Calgary might be the most impressive third period I've seen a team play in Vegas all year. Shots are 30-19 for Calgary. Power plays 1-for-2 for the Flames, 0-for-4 for Vegas. Hits 27-23 for Calgary. Markstrom saved 17 out of 19. Quick saved 23 out of 29. And I'm sure there'll be people who want to blame Quick, but yeah, they only had 19 shots. Vegas did not play their game tonight. This is the first game back after a long road trip. That is a problem with teams, has been for a long time. We'll see whether or not Vegas has an easier time in their next game. But for Calgary, huge win. Kudos to them for that. All right, next up, Vancouver and Arizona. So eventually, the winning streak for Calgary had to end, or for Vancouver had to end. And for Arizona, they're playing well at home. They now have 5 wins in a row at home, and I believe they said that's the first time that's happened since 2019. So, really, for fans in attendance, it's pretty good, although it feels like the Arizona games are almost always 50-50 attendance between the home team and the road team. So Demko versus Prosvetov in this one, the Cactus Leg jerseys. It's nice to see a Cactus Leg jersey victory, even if it is at the expense of the Canucks. So power play for the Canucks, that's killed off. The Coyotes clear it out. Dauphin then tips one wide as the Coyotes press. But on a turnover, and on the 4th shot of the game for Vancouver, Kuzmenko scores from Beauvillier and Pettersson at 5:14. I believe that's his 34th. The Coyotes had no shots to that point, but they would press for a response. The Canucks get another power play. That one's killed off. No shots on net on that one. Joshua was then denied as the Canucks press. The Canucks get a third power play. That's killed off as well. The Coyotes press with 4 minutes left. Eventually, before the period's out, Travis Boyd, former Canuck, scores from O'Brien at 19:30. So it's 1-1 after 1. Second period, near miss for Hayden on an opening rush. So Coyotes pick up where they left off. Early press by Arizona. There's a power play for the Coyotes. That becomes 48 seconds of 4-on-4. Things get pushy after a hold by Demko. Everything's killed off there. Canucks press after the power play ends. The shots are 4-1 Vancouver at 6.5 minutes. We get a power play for the Canucks. Miller has a shot that rattles Prosvetov, but he stays in the net. That power play's killed off 5 shots, and that left the Canucks at 0-for-5. So a lot of things Tocchet's going to want to work on coming out of this game. We then had a power play for the Coyotes, and they score on it. It's Boyd from Keller and Hayden at 12:44. That one's 5-hole. The Canucks press to respond. Keller tries to bank one in. Demko holds on there. Keller could definitely bank those pucks in, too, from impossible angles, so you have to watch for that. Coyotes press with 2.5 minutes left. There's a post for Fisher. More pressure by the Coyotes again. Soderstrom has a shot that's held. Garland had a shot saved on a 3-on-2. After 2 periods, the score's 2-1 in favor of the Coyotes. Third period, they get an early power play to the Arizona Coyotes, and they score on this one as well. So the Canucks, with a historically bad penalty kill, it has reverted back to that historically bad rate that they're allowing goals. I believe they're now 3 for their last 6 they've allowed goals on. So Krause scores on the power play for Soderstrom and Michelli at 1:19. That one's through a screen, no chance for Demko. Canucks press for response. The shots are 6-2 Vancouver at 7.5 minutes. Canucks press at the half. Pettersson's denied, and then he's not denied on the next opportunity. He goes bar down. Good patience showed by Pettersson there as well. Beauvillier and Garland with the assists at 11:41. So now I believe it's 85 points in 65 games for Pettersson. He is on a 100-point pace. So goalie pull happens with 2:05 left. Vancouver cannot generate that tying goal. Arizona hangs on and wins 3-2. They go to 26-32-11 on the season. Vancouver 29-33-5. And just one of those curious things. With this win in regulation, Arizona's now tied with Vancouver and St. Louis in the standings. Yep. Shots on net, 10 apiece in the first, 13-11 Vancouver in the second, 10-4 Arizona in the third. Really solid third period by Arizona. Final shots, 31-27 for the Coyotes. They go 0 for 5 on the power play. Vancouver, that's not right. That's not right. I got those backwards. All right, so the shots were, now I'll do it right, 10 apiece in the first, 13-11 Arizona in the second, 10-4 Vancouver in the third. Arizona's goaltending was very good in the third. Final shots, 31-27 Vancouver. Their power play goes 0 for 5. Arizona's power play goes 2 for 3. So when I get to the power play, then I'm like, that's not right. So I got that. I caught it. Hits, 25-19 for Arizona. Demko saves 24-27. Prosvetov, 29 saves on 31 shots. So Prosvetov's been good for them in the appearances he's made so far this year. And that bodes well for Arizona, a team that just seems to be able to get goaltenders to play really well. I kind of look at what Arizona does with goaltenders in a similar vein as what the Islanders do in the East. They're able to get the most out of their goalies. All right, next up. Columbus in against the LA Kings. So this was close until it wasn't. Tarasov versus Copley. Power play for Columbus. That's killed off, but they let in shots 4-1 at 3.5 minutes. Marchenko then fires one wide on a rush. Doughty fires one high on a rush opportunity of his own. It's cleared out after. Goudreau fires one high, and then the Kings rush. So there was a lot of open ice to start with and a lot of missing the net going on, too. Post for Moore on a 3-on-1 as well. Danault can't bury on a 2-on-1. There's a power play for the Kings. That's killed off. Kaliev has a rush chance. That's held. And a bounce-back game for Tarasov. And it's scoreless after one, and I thought, well, 15 saves in the first period. Good on Tarasov for having a bounce-back game. That's great. That's great. Keep that in mind. Second period. Johnson has a shot that goes high. Kings rush the other way. Things get pushy after a hold by Tarasov. And then Doughty buries one. He scores from Grundstrom and Kupari at 4:44. There was debate about whether or not there was going to be a challenge for Columbus. There was no challenge. So that one counts. Kings press at 7 minutes. Walker has a blast that's held. The shots are 7-5 Kings at 7.5 minutes. And at 7:42, they score to make it 2-0. It's Kopitar from Byfield and Anderson. And then Arvidsson adds one at 12:36 from Moore and Danault. And that's a one-timer on a cross-ice pass. So, I mean, I can't put this on Tarasov, but then at 13:48, Grundstrom scores. So that's 4 goals in the second period. So Tarasov's out. Hutchinson's in. So I jinxed Tarasov by saying bounce-back game so far. For Tarasov, I'd like to apologize to him. So third period, with the score 4-0 LA. The shots are 2-0 Kings at 3 minutes. Jackets press are kept to the outside, but at 4:31, it's Marchenko, the rookie that has a bunch of goals and very, very few assists. Bayreuther with the assist on that one, and so that makes it a 4-1 score. We get a power play for Columbus. That's killed off, but 4 shots for Columbus on that. Jackets with momentum, but they're down by 3. So the Jackets had a decent third period, but again, they're down by so much. Too many men on the ice. Kings get a power play out of that. That's killed off. But really, I felt like instead of Columbus killing, it was just LA protecting the lead. LA aware. We're up by 3. We're just taking 2 minutes off the clock. Make sure there's nothing crazy going on shorthanded. They did quite well there. Then there was a post for Iafallo on a fast break. The shots on net are 7 apiece with 5.5 minutes left. Peterson took a puck to the face, but he was okay. It looked scary initially, but he was okay. Kings lock it up late in this period. There wasn't much there for Columbus. 47 seconds left. The Kings then get a power play. So that does it. It's done. Your final score is 4-1 for LA. They go to 40, 20, and 9, and they pull themselves that much closer to the Vegas Golden Knights. Whereas for Columbus, they're 21, 39, and 7, and thanks to other things that happened tonight, they're even in a better place now to get that number 1 draft pick. Shots on net, 15-9 LA in the first, 13-10 LA in the second, and 12-8 Columbus in the third. Final shots, 36-31 for the Kings. Power plays, Columbus 0 for 2, LA 0 for 3. Not Arizona, LA. Hits 33-13 in favor of Columbus. Tarasov saved 23 out of 27. Again, my apologies for ruining his game with that note. And then Hutchinson saved all 9 shots in relief. Copley had a good game, 30 saves on 31 shots, which can get lost in a game where a team scores 4 goals in the second period. You can lose sight of what the goalie did to put him in a position to win that game. All right, last one for tonight. I promise there's no fourth board behind it. With the way I have this set up now, there won't be 4 boards until that 16-game night, and even then I don't think I'll need 4. That's something from the old set, the old house. I'm so thankful I don't need that anymore. So Seattle in against San Jose. I would like to thank San Jose again for making sure I get extra San Jose hockey, because that's great. And knowing that there are people watching the game going, somewhere THG is so happy this game's going overtime. Yeah, I am. So, Grubauer versus Reimer, early power play for the Sharks. Just think about it, though. All these overtime loss points are the reason that they're ahead of Columbus in the standings. So there's that, right? So early power play for the Sharks. LeBanc has a blast that's held. That's killed off. The shots are 3-1 for San Jose at 5 minutes. Seattle, honestly, kind of fortunate to come out of this with the result they did tonight. So early clear by the Sharks in a power play for Seattle. Gord's tied up at the net. They do kill that off. Larson breaks up a 3-on-2. There was a press by Seattle at the half. Sharks block. They keep Seattle to the outside for the most part there. Hurdle has a shot that's held. There's some pushiness after that. Strong forecheck by the Sharks. Eberle was then denied as the Kraken press. 2:06 left. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Seattle presses in the final minute, and then at the horn, Noah Gregor hits the post. So we go to the second period, scoreless. Sturm has a sharp angle shot that's saved. We get a power play for the Sharks. That's killed off. Shots are 4-2 San Jose at 5 minutes. So again, they have a good start to each period. They're playing well. Power play for the Kraken. McCann's denied. They cycle. Tolvanen has a blast that deflects out. Eberle couldn't bury one. That's cleared out, and that power play is killed off. Donato had a wraparound then that was held. There's a press by Seattle with 4 minutes left. LeBanc fires one wide on a 2-on-1 rush. But after the second period, it's still scoreless. Third period. Eklund is awarded a penalty shot early in the period, and he scores on it. His first career penalty shot at 1:18. Nice deke. Good move. And he scores it. So that makes it 1-0 San Jose. Seattle presses at 3.5 minutes. Couture has a rush chance that's saved. 6 minutes into the period, the shots are 8-3 for San Jose. For a moment, I thought, could they actually hold on to win this? Because their home team fans, they don't see wins in San Jose. They just don't. They've only seen 6 all season. Nope. So Bjorkstrand would tie it from Gordon Larson at 7:03. Seattle then presses, draws them a power play. Pretty aggressive kill by the Sharks, though. Their penalty kill definitely picked it up again lately after a rough patch there. So they kill that off. Pressed by the Sharks with 6.5 minutes left. McCann nearly puts Seattle in the lead. Not meant to be. So we go to overtime. Sharks control. Wenberg was minus the stick as well, so that's 3-on-2.5 there. Puck's cleared out, though. The teams do get a change, so that doesn't come into account here. Eberle struggles with the puck. I'm not sure. Just one of those things, and it might have been rough ice conditions or just, being bothered by players, whatnot. McCann then fires one high, and then at 1:58, Vince Dunn, the leading scorer for the Seattle Kraken, gets the goal from McCann. And so Seattle survives the scare here. They win 2-1 in San Jose in overtime. They go to 38-23-7 with the win. For San Jose, 19-36-14 with the overtime loss. So they have the same number of overtime loss points as does Calgary. That's the race we're really not talking about. Shots on net, 10-8 San Jose in the first, 15-8 for Seattle in the second, 14-8 San Jose in the third. In the overtime, Seattle gets the only shot. That's all they needed. So the shots altogether are 32-32. Power plays, 0 for 3 for Seattle, 0 for 2 for San Jose. Hits, 21-17 for San Jose. Grubauer, 31 saves on 32 shots. Reimer, 30 saves on 32 shots. I need to go get something to drink because I had nothing to drink for this video and realized it after it shut the door and started. And it's 44 minutes straight of talking, so I definitely need a drink. At any rate, and this is non-alcohol. I don't drink. I mean, like soda drink. So no. And middle of the week, really, seriously. Anyways, let me know your thoughts regarding any of these games in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.